Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to chapter 8.4.5 Easy Path. We are going to take the path starting with Miles Morales, Black Widow Clairvoyant into Corvus, Spidergwen, Symbiote Supreme, and ending off with Quicksilver. The boss is going to be Capsan, more on him later in the video. The nodes are going to be Weapon, Transmode Infection, Disarm with Combo Up, Unarmed with Strike Block, and if you want to capture, that would be to dodge a special attack. There's also Berserk, experimental, so whenever the defender will charge during unarmed, he will be unstoppable. And there's also Kinetic Reactor, so whenever the defender will hit you in your block, he's going to gain 5.5% of their max power. Now, before I jump into the options, the biggest cheese option for this whole path is Valkyrie. She just stops everything and she does a great lot of damage in the block, so she will work against everybody, and this path can be done in like 5 minutes only. The regular boost and masteries apply. You do not need a relic, but if you bring a relic, it will help to get more hits into the block. If you don't have Valkyrie, some other options that work good are the champions that damage or crit through block. I've given you a few options, including Massacre, Corvus, Bullseye, Yondu, all of them work. And if you don't have any good options from that, just bring your highest ascended champions or highest ranked champions with great base damage, and they should do the job as well. For the boss island, we are going to have Falcon, and he's going to have a lot of auto blocks, so it is advisable to bring in Odin for his pre-fights, or if you want to play with Odin also, that works. Bring in champions that have a lot of buffs and you should be able to get through the Falcon easily. So starting off the path, the first fight is going to be against Spider-Man Miles Morales. I am just using Kingpin here. He's not the ideal option, but because he's an ascended champion, his base damage will be quite a lot. So the target here is to get to 15 hits and get the weapon unarmed, then I can hit in the block. So I waited at 13 hits. I wanted him to throw out his special, so he does not have any power, so I can easily hit him in the block. So just like that, on the block hits, you have looked how much damage I've done to him. Now because here I had to evade, I've captured the weapon, but ideally you should not capture the weapon and just hit in the block, and you can take out the defender quite easily. Now this is barely an 8 or 9 minute video including the boss, so I'll be explaining it continuously. Next up is going to Black Widow Clairvoyant. I'm using a Joe Fixit here. The same rule applies. I'm just trying to use medium combos so I can have all the spades and high extra damage, and the idea is by the time I get to 13 or 14 hits, if the Black Widow Clairvoyant has some kind of power, let her throw a special so she can remove all of those. And at 15, I've got a disarm, she's blocking and I'm hitting in the block, and the striker comes in, takes extra damage, and there we go. She is down to like 8%. Now, if she dashes in, she's gonna have unstoppable on her. That is for every champion on this path, so you have to make sure that they don't dash in. Moving on to the next fight, the dash-in can be controlled with Valkyrie. I think Valkyrie is the cheese option for this path because she not only does extra damage on the block, she also has all of these combos that she can increase her combo meter without actually hitting the opponent, but just hitting in the block. And when she's above 10 hits, 11 hits, she also has a pierce that starts unstoppable. So she completely counters the whole of this path. So you can easily bring Valkyrie and you can run through the whole path, 30 seconds, 40 seconds fights, and you will be done with it within no time. So this is an example, Valkyrie just eating through Corvus. Look at all of that extra damage, 38,000, 24,000. She is just awesome for this part, the perfect cheese for this one. So I'm just gonna go in, hit on the block again, and take Corvus out. He does not have power, and I have 3 of those pierce, so even if he's dashing, he goes unstoppable. I'll be able to remove that from him, and there we go. He has some immortality, so I'm just gonna eat that out, and he is dead. The defenders on these parts are also quite easy to deal with. Next one we have is Spider-Gwen. That's why I love Valkyrie on this path, because with Spider-Gwen, if I hit her, she is going to get her Spidey charges and she is going to evade, and that's going to hurt us really bad later. So I am just going to hit and block, slowly build up my combo meter and make sure I get to 11 hits so I can get a pierce. So it's unstoppable. I'm not worried about even Spider-Gwen dashes at me. Now at 14, I just let her throw a special, and now I'm gonna wait for her to block. The armor is disabled, and look at that damage. I am trying that she does not throw a special, so I don't get to capture the weapon and just hit her in a block. Look at that damage. Even with the unstoppable, I don't have to worry because Pierce will control that. And with an SP1, barely a 30-second fight. Super cheese. And before we know it, we are on the second last fight of the path. That is going to be Symbiote Supreme. So I'm giving you another example here where I do not have a crit through block champion with class advantage with Symbiote Supreme. So I'm going to bring in my Ascended Photon. She is a rank 6, so her damage will be high anyway. So 15 hits, blocking. Now look at the block damage. Followed up with the Striker. There we go. He's down to 51%. Now I have to wait through him for him to keep blocking, and when the unstoppable goes away, only then I can go in and attack. That might happen. It might be a bit annoying, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. You can do the remaining damage on the next cycle. Now again, I need to apply a multiple of 15 hits to disable the weapon. So I can build up to 30 hits before the weapon is available again, and I can go back in and disable it. Really fun path, really easy. But again, if you have Valkyrie, or even if you have somebody like Bullseye or Yondo, all of those champions work really well, even a Hercules. And the final defender for the path is going to be a Quicksilver. Now he's going to be a bit annoying because there's also Kinetic Instigator. So with all of his hits, he can gain power very quickly. So I am again going to use a Valkyrie, and I'm trying not to give him a special attack or keep him to an SP1 only. Because once he gets to an SP2, he will throw back-to-back specials at you, and that's going to be trouble to handle it. So slowly I'm building up my Pierce, and right here the weapon is disabled at 15 hits, and I'm just hitting in the block, and look at him die. 30,000, 30,000, 30,000. I got hit by that SP1. I should have evaded it, but here we are. He's almost dead. Don't care about the unstoppable, and here we go in. It's down to 21% only, so I'm gonna keep hitting him in the block, not giving him power, and I am able to take him out. So yeah, you have Valkyrie, super cheese. 3 fights from the path. Valkyrie took collectively only 1 minute. So yeah, Corvus can work as well. All the champions that can hit through block would work as well. The extra thing about Valkyrie is she can get hits through a block, the hit counter, so she does not give extra power, and you can also control the unstoppable, so she is the perfect cheese for this path. Moving on to the boss, Captain Cap Sam. That is going to be a very annoying fight if you don't have the right champion to control him. There is energy adoption with Cold Snap, debuff synthesis, Kraken armor, give me shelter, level-headed, and true focus. So he's going to auto block you every single way unless you have buffs on you. So you will need champions that do have a lot of buffs on you. So you can. I'm talking about your Hulklings. I'm talking about your Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer has vigilance, so he can get through the auto block. There's also Angela that I'm using. She can get through auto block. There's also Hercules who can get through auto block, and Odin as well. I would still suggest if you bring any champion that has a lot of buffs, that's okay. Still bring in Odin pre-fights at the selector, so you can apply the pre-fights and you have extra buff when you start the fight. And once you have this buffs, you can also use Valkyrie, because remember, Valkyrie also gets the buff. So it's a very chronological boss that comes through after the path. So all you need to do is to keep him to an SP1, and you can slowly eat away at him. You will get the Furies to help you to kill him faster. Now Angela is a slow champion to kill him, but she's a safe one. And also with the Sig ability, the chance to auto block is absolutely zero once you have this much of buffs on you, so you don't need to worry about that. And don't worry about the lockdown, just keep away from the SP2, and it's a simple takedown. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It barely took us like 10 minutes to finish off this, 8 minutes to finish off this path. It was super cheese. So I'll be back with 8.46 easy path finally. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to share it with your friends, share it with your alliances, and let me know if you have any questions in the comment section down below, and I'll help you out. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.